Hello, and welcome back to Let's Play Unrest. My name is Marlo, and we're going to continue as Tanya, a 15-year-old peasant girl who is very intelligent, it seems, and who is a bit apprehensive about an arranged marriage that her parents have formed, arranged for her that she seems apprehensive about, for a lot of reasons, and who wouldn't be. So, let's continue to talk to people. Now it says Naga Merchant as if the Naga Merchant might have something else to say to us. Let's make sure that that's not the case. Yeah, we still could say that. I tell you what, we might think about it later. Our goal is still to avoid death, unlike we did with our last character. There's a person we could talk to down here, Dahir, our aunt, and Hanu. Let's go down and talk to Dahir. And, okay, here we are in this area. It's a very small area. It appears to be some sort of a marketplace. There's a merchant trader, and Dahir. Let's see if the merchant traders will tell us anything. I wish Laxmi would just see that Naga so it would leave. Okay. How nice. Let's check our journal and see if there is an entry for the merchant traders. I don't know if there is or not. Okay, there doesn't appear to be. So let's read the entry for Dahir since we're about to talk to him. The local buyer and seller of goods. He does a little trade between the city and the village. You're not sure what the circumstances of his birth were, but you know he did fight in a war a few decades ago. Excuse me. I'm recording this video right after the last one, so my voice may be a little scratchy. I've got a glass of water here in front of me, and I may take a moment every now and then to take a little sip out of it, so I beg your patience with me on that. Alright, let's talk to Dahir. Hey, Tanya, getting ready for the wedding? Agreeable. Have you been lately, or direct? Just loitering. I think I'll be agreeable and say, have you been lately? Can't complain. No money, not a lot of food, but at least things are peaceful. Nothing more important than that. Don't see you much around much. Your family's pretty frugal. Any chance you're here to throw a little custom my way? Looking for travel supplies. Could be. Or no, not right now. Perhaps later. Let's look for travel supplies. I'm curious what will happen. Dahir gestures to his stock, smiling warmly. Bedding. A few blankets. We've ruined some of ours. Maps. My father's been looking for an area map. A gift to Hanu's father, I think. Provisions. How about some of that dried meat? Ours never turns out as good as yours. That sword's not for sale, is it? Or nothing right now, come to think of it. So, you know, I'm beginning to think, because the stables were highlighted when we were in that part of the map, and there's an option to ask the Naga Merchant to take us to the city, and now we can look at bedding, maps, and provisions. I'm beginning to wonder if escape might be an option for us as this character. I think because of that, I don't want to get too deep into any of these lines of conversation. We will probably come back and talk to him later. So I think right now I'm going to say nothing, and let's talk to some of the other characters like Hanu and see what he has to say for himself. So let's go this way, and Hanu should be. No, he's not here, but our aunt is here. Hanu's in the next screen over. Boy, our village is awfully big. Here's our aunt. Here's some random villagers. Let's talk to her. Our uncle asked us to. You know, I love your uncle dearly, but one of these days he's going to make me whack him upside the head with a shovel. You know what he's been telling me? He's been telling me we shouldn't go to Laxmi's people and get the food we need for your wedding feast. Like we're going to celebrate your new life with some gourd rinds and soggy rice. Don't worry, Tanya, he's got another thing coming. Well, agreeable. I'm glad to see you care so much. Respectful. Maybe we should talk about that. Distressed. Auntie, please don't make a fuss about this. I really don't care. I think I'll be respectful and say maybe we should talk about this. Don't you start on me too. This isn't just about having a grand feast, you know. We have a right to demand the extra food from the stockpiles. We grow that food. We follow Laxmi's orders. We don't ask much at all. But when we have a wedding, we have the right to go up to her door and say, here's what we need. Laxmi's husband never turned us down. Not once. Maybe he grumbled, but when his people came back out, they were ready to approve everything we needed. So, boy, our aunt talks a lot. Worried, but Laxmi isn't her husband, is she? And these are tense times. Reserved. I know. She probably would give us the food. But should we really take it? The monsoons haven't returned. Agreeable. Interesting. I hadn't thought about it as a matter of rights. Well, this is another tough decision. I'm really torn between the top two, personally. Perhaps, we could be eco-friendly about it and point out that the monsoons have not returned and the people are still hungry. So maybe we shouldn't use the extra food. Or we could kind of talk about the politics of the situation. I think I'm going to go with number one. These are tense times indeed. You know what? Laxmi should just try to punish a peasant for asking for a wedding feast. This place would turn on her in an instant. People are too afraid of Laxmi and her men. They don't understand how the balance of power really works. Worried. Auntie, they have spears. That's how it works. Resigned. Maybe you're right. Auntie, please, I want you to promise me you won't beg Laxmi for the extra food. Well, we are still attempting to avoid death, and perhaps we should also be attempting to avoid death for our family members as well. I think I'll say number 3, and want her to promise that she won't beg Laxmi for the extra food. Oh, all right, I'll be good, but only because you're my favorite niece. As far as I know, we're her only niece. But, right, so... And her opinion of us seems to have gone up. So, apparently we did fairly well in that conversation. Alright, let's continue on. A stranger. Let's go talk to strangers like you're not supposed to do, right? If you're a kid. Oh, sorry, did you want something? Interested? What are you reading? Hey, I'm Tanya. Or direct, maybe I just want to talk to somebody. I'll ask what he's reading. Nothing. Can't read. You're the girl who's getting married, aren't you? Congratulations. I'm sure you'll be deliriously happy. Ironic. Be sure to let me know when the marital bliss begins. I might miss it. Agreeable. I don't think we've gotten the chance to get to know each other. So have you met my betrothed? I'm tempted to be ironic because I get the feeling he's being ironic with me. Why don't we open our journal and see if he's in there? Just out of curiosity. He does not appear to be. So, let's see what happens if we're ironic. I'm getting an odd sense you don't really belong here. I could be agreeable. I could say, oh, I don't know about that. I mean, I grew up here. This is where my friends and family are. Or I could say, I don't like parts of it, sure. Or I could be defiant. Yeah, I don't. Sometimes it seems like nobody here is happy unless nobody gets what they want. I think we're going to be thoughtful and say I don't like parts of it, sure. Yeah, well, one village is more or less like another. This place beats where I came from, though. Trust me. It's just as though one day, without any prior planning, people started throwing things and burning down fences, which wouldn't have been so bad, except they didn't count on the family running to the farms to respond in kind. It was an ugly, stupid, badly handled mess on every level. Your mistress Laxmi had the whole place emptied out before too many people were arrested and tortured to death. I think she took custody of people on both sides of the violence once she'd painstakingly identified the masterminds. Agreeable. I had no idea it was that bad out there. I could be direct. You think anything like that would ever happen here? Or I could be direct. So, were you guilty of anything? Maybe we won't ask that question. But I'm tempted to be... I'm tempted to be agreeable here. But But boy, this response sounds like it might be interesting as well. Another toughie. Another toughie. Oh, gosh. Well, let's say that, let's ask if he thinks anything like that would ever happen here. Option number 2. Enough about all that. Anyway, what's with you? You seem a little subdued for someone days away from marital bliss. Honestly, I don't really want to talk about it. We could be direct. We could say, well, the way I see it, this is just one more chore I need to get done. Dig a ditch, bring in water, marry an undesirable clod of dirt for the rest of my life. Agreeable. I'm trying to get my enthusiasm up. It'll take some time, that's all. Or I could be defiant. I'd rather not marry him at all if I can manage it. Well, I mean, we haven't heard anything about the guy, have we? Then again, we haven't actually spoken to him. He might be a decent fella. We just don't know. Sometimes people are genuinely misunderstood, after all, right? So I think that we should say... Let's say I'm trying to get my enthusiasm up. It'll take some time, I guess. It's... I don't know. I really don't know what to pick here. I'm not really sure what our character would say. In general, I've chosen for her to be direct whenever possible. But that's not really an option here. Well, I mean, it is, but I'm not sure I want the conversation to end, and this seems like a statement that might shut it down. So maybe I'll be agreeable this time. I'll be honest with you. If I were in your situation, I don't know what I'd do. So you think you're going to go through with it? Yeah, I do. It's not what I want to do, but it's what I've got to do. I can be resigned. I don't have a choice. I can be direct. I'm trying to think of some way out of it. So far, I'm drawing blanks. I think I'm going to be direct this time and see what happens. We lost a little bit of his respect when we were agreeable, so this guy may like it more when we tell him what we really think. And he seems to like that based on the sounds. It seems like if the little musical notes go up, you have increased your the person's opinion of you in some way. If the little notes go down in tone and or in pitch, it seems that their opinion of you has decreased in a certain in some way based on what we've seen so far. So, well, I suppose in theory, the stranger says, one could steal a horse from the stables at midnight. One could do so when one heard chattering near the manor, because that's when the guards on the outer patrol are crossing paths and idling. One could then ride west until one saw the road to Taxila, at which point one finds some students or merchants and blends in, which equally technically would be easier if one managed to steal some money or trade goods before one went. I could be direct and say, I could be agreeable and say, you seem to have thought this out. Or I could be direct. What about a solution that allowed me to remain in the village? Another puzzler here, honestly. Do we want to remain in the village? Would our character want to remain in the village? I mean, her family is here. This is the only place she's known her entire life. But then again, she's an intelligent person. She likes to read books. She probably wonders what it would be like to go see other places. She might have that temptation. It's hard to say. I'm really torn between what about a solution that allowed me to remain in the village and, They're both direct responses. I think I'm going to go with number 1. I mean, it seems like the game has kind of been hinting that an escape might be possible if we do the right things. And so I'm beginning to become curious about this. Of course, we still haven't managed to talk to our would-be husband yet, so who knows? But let's go with response number 1, as vague as it is for right now. Don't mention it. Seriously, don't ever mention it. In fact, whenever you do, just keep walking without another word. And that's all he has to say to us. The stranger is currently writing something down. He looks very busy. Perhaps you should come back to distract him later. Okay, so we can look at our map, and Nita, the stables are now on the map. That's interesting. And the Naga Merchant and Hanu. Journal. Let's see if the stranger has an entry now. He still does not. Let's see if our quest was updated. Okay, it was in fact updated. I talked to the stranger in town. Out of nowhere, he suggested I steal a horse from the stables and run away from home. I have to admit, the idea is tempting. But at the same time, I wonder who exactly this guy is supposed to be. Now, that is a very good question. I mean, he did bring it up with very little prompting from us. So... yeah, we've read that already. So, I don't know. It is intriguing, but it does make you wonder if something else is going on. Of course, I have no idea. I don't say that knowing what's going to happen already. That's a random villager. I say it honestly not having a clue, because you are witnessing me playing this game for the very first time. But let's finally see if we can actually talk to our soon-to-be husband. Oh, here's a named character. We should probably talk to her. Let's see if she has a journal entry. I think she does. I think I saw it in here. Nilaya. You've vaguely heard that Hanu has a grown sister, but she's always kept to herself and her peasant husband, and you've never spoken to her, and yet you get the sense she doesn't like you. Oh, well that's nice. Let's talk to her anyway. Oh, it's you. Look, as far as I'm concerned, my husband's family is the only family I've got. Don't think I'm going to be your big sister just because my brother has to marry you. Well, she's hostile to us. That's nice. She's appreciative. For some reason. Maybe she appreciates that we're going to marry into her family, and she's not afraid of us. I could be agreeable and say understood. I could be direct and say that's kind of harsh, isn't it? And I could be defiant and say you're really more like the infection that sets in after a wild dog bites your ankle. Well, that's pretty saucy, isn't it? Let's go with number 2. That's kind of harsh, isn't it? I don't like you. I never asked to be related to you, and I'm not going to put up with you just because of some stupid decisions my father made. Accusatory. You don't always get to pick your life and your family. I should know that. Agreeable. I guess I can respect that and be direct. What stupid decisions? Now here's the question. Do we want her to like us more? Or do we care? I mean, I could ask number 3. I doubt it's going to improve her, her opinion of us, but we might get more information. On the other hand, if I were to say something more accusatory, maybe if we stood up to her a little bit, she might respect us more or something. Sometimes people are like that. Sometimes people are that way. I really don't know. Oh. I'm going to say number 1. I'm going to be accusatory and stand up for myself a little bit. See if that gets us anywhere. I doubt it can get much worse. Right, so you don't always get to pick your life and your family. Oh, that just made things worse. You know, if you weren't such a self-important little twit, you and Hanu might actually make a good pairing. But that's not your style. You'll fight him whenever he's wrong or stupid or doing something you don't want him to. Fair warning, you're going to be fighting him a lot. I could be direct and say, I think this betrothal has more problems than just my attitude. I could be defiant and say, I'm not going to act demure just to please Hanu of all people. I could be defiant and say, funny how your parents still couldn't find you anyone better, huh? Or why am I still talking to you? This is not a good conversation, is it? Doesn't seem to be going well. Why don't we be direct? Oh, hey, we might actually get some information about this. Look, you want to know why Hanu's so upset about this? Why we all are? My father blew more than this family had on investments he wasn't half smart enough to manage. We're carrying the sort of debt that takes bread out of your mouth for the rest of your life. Why do you think we're living out here? Except, if we just get this fat sack of coins, like the dowry only your father with his little side business has the money for, that just might solve all of our problems without needing any of us to be cleverer or more virtuous than we actually are. But nobody's happy about it. Father's paranoid that your family doesn't even have the money, and I think on some level his pride wants it to be so. A peasant bailing him out, it's almost too much for him to stomach. You mean to tell me this whole stupid marriage is happening so your father can get my father's money? I could be direct, I could be agreeable. I guess I hadn't realized how important this was to your family. And be thoughtful. So what if we actually didn't have the money? If, say, it were stolen? Let's see. I'm tempted, very, very tempted by number 3. I'm also tempted by number 1. Gosh. This game is doing a good job of making me really stop to think about what I would like to choose for my character to do, or say, or decide, what have you. I mean, it's really, really good about that sort of thing. Gosh, I guess we will go with number 3. What if the money were to, unfortunately, vanish? Well, my father would start yelling about being tricked and appeal to Laxmi to help out. When Laxmi didn't help because there was no one she could arrest or have beaten that would solve the problem, he'd probably cancel your marriage, tell everyone that you're a low and unworthy girl, beat 6 kinds of flesh out of anything that doesn't run away fast enough, drink himself into a stupor, and wait for his debt to ruin the family even more. Should be a fun time for everyone involved. Well, it's not my problem. None of this is my problem. Now go away and let me get back to work. Well, I have to say that Naga Merchant Stables, Nita, we do need to talk to her. But, oh wait, what's here? Your dowry. Oh, we could potentially steal it. That is very interesting. And at the moment, certainly, they've not given us much reason to be terribly charitable towards their family. In fact, she's been this person's been kind of a jerk. Of course, you know, every family has some bad apples, so who knows? Let's check our quests. Okay, our quest has in fact updated. Nyala revealed that Hanu's father is only agreeing to the marriage so he can get my father's dowry. He's paranoid that my father never had the money at all. I know that the dowry is being stored in Laxmi's house. Maybe if it disappeared, this whole betrothal would collapse. Of course, who knows what else could collapse. And you know, the stranger did warn us about essentially family feuding going on and, you know, bringing about the ruin of the village. So, yeah, hard to know what to do as far as that goes. Well, let's continue on and see if we can actually speak to our soon-to-be fiancé, Hanu's mother. Okay, there's a journal entry for her. Let's check it out before we talk to her. A merchant caste couple, they keep mostly to themselves. The father is loud, and you've never heard the mother speak. Okay, the father. Okay, it's the exact same entry. That is literally identical. Let's talk to the mother. Let's see if we can hear her speak now. Please just go talk to my son. Try to make it work. Well, she's not very happy with us. Okay, I was going to see if that house could be entered. There's Hanu. There's the villager, another villager, and Hanu's father. Let's talk to him. See if he is a jerk. What are you doing here? It's my son marrying me, not you. I don't want to talk to you. Ironic. Direct. Be that as it may, I need to talk to you. Let's be direct. Let's see if anything can come out of this conversation. Nothing to talk about. You're marrying my son. You ain't thinking of doing something clever, are you? Because I promise you, you'll wish you hadn't. Ironic. I could say lovely. I could be defiant. Is that a threat? And I could be direct. You know what? Never mind. Have a nice day. Ooh, that's tempting. I see no reason to be defiant. I mean, after all, if I'm going to make a break for it, I don't need to advertise the fact that I'm going to make a break for it, right? I mean, what good does that do you? It doesn't seem like it would do you much good at all. So, I don't think we're going to say number 2. I could say, you know what, never mind, have a nice day. You know what, I think that's what I'm going to say. He makes fists with his hand, his whole arm shakes, but he doesn't move another inch. He stares coldly at you until you leave. Well, This family is, well, yeah, I can just say it must be a pleasant house to live in, right? Well, let's talk to Hanu and see what he's like. You? Don't tell me you're Tanya. Huh. Great. We're off to a great start, aren't we? Agreeable, I am. Direct, you sound so disappointed or defiant. Excuse me. Let's be direct. I can't believe this. You're not merchant caste. You're not a family friend. You're not even pretty. Why is my father doing this to me? Well, not a great first impression, Mr. Hanu. But let's see what our choices are. We could be resigned. I know. I'm not eager about this either. Approachable. We're stuck with this marriage one way or the other. Let's be adults about this. Ironic. So this is how you're going to be about it? Good to know. Well, I don't really know what to say. I don't think irony is necessarily going to get us anywhere. I think I'm going to say, I know, I'm not eager about this either. Shut up. You've got nothing to be upset about. You're marrying up. Half the girls in the village would die to marry me, and I'm stuck with you instead. You should be thanking my parents on your hands and knees. Approachable. If you're not happy, chances are I won't be happy. Accusatory. How about the fact that you're clearly an ass? Well, as true and applicable as that statement is, I know I'm lucky, but never mind. I can't explain it. Let's be approachable. If you're not happy, chances are I won't be happy. Well, just leave me alone. If this is going to be the rest of my life, let me spend my last few days in peace. Here, take this. My mother told me to give it to you as a wedding present. Okay, well, what is it? A peasant necklace, battered old handmade necklace, well worn, well loved. Okay. We've got $3 and we got some Naga currency, which is apparently worth nothing. Have we read the entry on Hanu? The son of the town's merchant caste denizen. You avoid him and he avoids most of the villagers. But you've heard he's surly and prone to aggressive outbursts. Well, that, I'd say that's an accurate assessment. Okay. Pardon me for just a moment while I take a drink of water. Okay, sorry about that. Just getting a little hoarse there. Okay, our quest is updated. He's worse. My mother wants me to go back to tell her, to her and tell her everything's fine. But if I do that, I'm dooming myself to a lifetime of misery. Am I ready for that? Someone's got to have some advice for me. Okay. So, the stranger, Harish, Naga merchant, Payal, Stables, Juhi, Father, Radha, Nita. Okay, we've got a lot of people to talk to. Pardon me again. Why don't we... I don't want to speak with you. Go away. Okay, lovely, lovely family. I would just love to be a part of this family. You know, is there a way that could have gone better and made them like me or anything like that? Honestly, I don't know. I mean, I get kind of the impression that there's not, but of course, who knows what would happen if I chose very different dialogue choices. Alright, there's a villager down there. Harish. Who is that? Let's see if we can... Oh, there's a whole nother area down here. My bad. I didn't realize that before. Let's check our journal for Harish and see if there's somebody, a journal entry for him. Okay, there is. An earnest, hard-working man, proud of his large family. Alright, let's talk to him. Tanya, you read all sorts of things. I know you do. I've seen you go at it. What do you know of medicine? What? Nothing. Direct, you look awful. Is something wrong? And, Direct, I know enough to know Radha's cures aren't good for much, but besides that, I think I'll go with number 3. No. What was I thinking? Of course you can't help me. You're just a girl. You're useless. I'm useless. Laxmi is useless. Harish, calm down and tell me what's wrong. Is this about your family? I could be curious, or I could be direct. You know what? I don't have time for this. I've got my own problems. Well, let's see if we can let's see if we can help in any way. Our character doesn't seem like a bad person. In fact, she seems overall like a good person to me. So let's go with number 1. My son is dying. I've watched him die for almost a week, helpless, hopeless, knowing that Laxmi keeps the best doctor in Bimra in her home, not 100 feet away. My son is shriveling and sweating his life away, and I can do nothing. Now, I could be accusatory, and I could say, Harish, go talk to the doctor. This is your son's life we're talking about. I could be agreeable. Oh, Harris, I'm sorry, there's nothing you can do. And thoughtful. Maybe if you threw yourself at Laxmi's feet, she might help you? Let's go with this option. I don't think the others are likely to be helpful. And why would she? The only reason that evil woman has her power in the first place is that life doesn't concern her. She has a stone for a heart and poison for blood, and she keeps her servants on a tight rein. I daren't even speak to the doctor. I fear what Laxmi would do to my family. Let's see, we could be defiant. Then I'll speak to the doctor. I've little enough to lose. Direct, it's all down to fate now. Hope for the best, and if your son lives, he'll live. And then thoughtful. Well, have you heard of the man who gives away medicine in the city? Well, let's say that, I think. We don't want to give up. And I'm not sure that we do have little enough to lose. I mean, our family seems to be doing relatively well for peasants, and, we do have other family members to consider. So let's try number 3. He gives away medicine to peasants? Why? Are you certain of this? Direct. I know. There must be some sort of catch. Thoughtful. There are some people in the city who hate him. I can't promise he's a good man. It's worth a try, isn't it? Well, let's, really all these seem like good responses, natural responses to this conversation. Why don't we say, I know there must be some sort of catch. If there's even a chance this will help my son, I've got to take it. I'll travel into the city tonight and be back before Laxmi knows I've gone. Thank you, Tanya. And I hope all is better. Any hope at all is better than none. Okay, what does our journal say now? Completed quests. I told Harris to visit Ranveer, the priest, up in the city who gives away medicine. And I gave the... Okay, this is our completed quest. I didn't even realize we had completed quests. How about that? So, we learned something new in this episode. Okay, this is the toy maker. I gave the merchant a sample toy. He? She? Okay, so... I'm not the only one who can't tell. That's nice to know. Was pleased with them, and didn't seem to understand why my father wasn't making them for a living. How do you explain something like that to someone who comes from an empire without caste? So, okay, well that's good to know. Alright, let's go talk to the stranger again. According to the map, the stranger might have more things to say to us than he did last time. Let's see if that's indeed the case. Alright, this is the same response we got last time. He's writing something down, and he appears to be busy. So we may try him again later. We'll see. Does our aunt have anything to say to us new? Stay strong, Tanya. You will always have that no matter what happens. Okay. So she doesn't really have anything new to say as far as conversations go. Let's talk to the Naga merchant. You know what? I'm going to ask. I'm just going to come out and ask. I want to take my chances in the city. Can you smuggle me in? Let's see what happens. Some advice for you, human. Sometimes all you see is the thrill of a new opportunity, the promise of a new scene and a grander lifestyle. You never know just how beautiful safety is until you've thrown it away. Uncertain. I'm not convinced marrying Hanu is safe at all. Defiant. I don't know if I believe in miserable safety as a lifestyle. And thoughtful. Maybe you're right. I think I'm going to be uncertain. This is an outsider. I feel like I can speak a little more freely to him than I might be able to people who live in the village. So we're just going to choose choice number 1. Your life, your decision. But I can't take you with me. The risks are too great, and the benefit non-existent. So, okay. Alright, let's continue back this way. And see if there's other people that could be spoken to. Will the doctor talk to us? Nope, he won't. That's nice to know. That's another villager. Does it say there's somebody else here? Payal. Who is that and where are they? Villager Payal. Okay. Hey, what's this? Fissured rocks. Okay, we're going to go click on that in just a minute. Tanya, I read the poem you gave me. I mean, there's a word here and there I didn't get, but... Agreeable, that's great to hear. Direct, keep it down. Laxmi never said we weren't allowed to learn reading, but better to be safe than sorry. Thoughtful, I might not be around to teach you everything. You'll have to find someone else who knows how to read. I think I'll say that's great to hear. This appears to be a young child. You're getting married. I want to get married. I can't wait to find out who my husband is. Let's see if she has a journal article entry. A young girl, bright and active. She likes you a lot and listens to pretty much whatever you say. Yeah, that's pretty obvious. I don't think I've ever really felt that way. Do you think that's weird? I can be direct. Is there somebody that you want to marry? Or agreeable, I'm sure your parents will do their best. I'm going to be thoughtful and say that I never really felt that way. I guess Juhi said she doesn't, but all the other girls I know do. Marrying is fun. You get kids to boss around and you get to run a house. Direct. If running a house is so great, how come Laxmi has servants to do it for her? Agreeable. Maybe everyone else is right. I don't want to argue. Thoughtful. But do you actually want a husband or just everything that comes with one? I'll continue to be thoughtful with her, I guess. I don't know. Direct. Who told you running a house was fun? Did they run a house and did they have a choice in the matter? What am I even talking about? That's direct. Resigned. What am I even talking about? My mother seems happy enough, so why does this seem like such a death sentence? I won't force the point. I'd just think about it. That's the agreeable response. And then I could be thoughtful and say, I shouldn't be talking to you like this. Your parents probably wouldn't be happy. I think I'm going to go with this choice. Are you okay? Yes, I'm okay. No, I'm not. Or I don't know. I really don't. Let's pick this choice, because it's true. I don't understand what you're talking about, but I don't want you to be sad. Can you feel better? I think we'll go with number 2. I'll try. I'm sorry I shouldn't offload on a child. She hugs you. Alright. Why don't we come down and talk to this weary guard? Double patrol duty at this hour, and you peasants think you've got a real hard job. Okay. That's interesting. Can we walk down here any further? We can, but there's nothing to see here, apparently. Yeah. Let's see what these rocks are. I didn't notice this before. We didn't come down this far. An unobtrusive rock well outside of the usual foot traffic. And we'll leave. That's our only choice. That's interesting. I wonder if that might be used for something later. It probably will be. Let's click on the stables again, since it's lit up on our map. Inside are the strongest, fastest horses in Bimra. You've never ridden a horse before. We can leave or wait until nightfall, then flee the village alone with no supplies. Well, that doesn't seem like a great plan. Yeah, I think we'll leave at the moment. We can come back, I assume. Although that's probably a dangerous assumption to make. But let's go and talk to our friend Juhi, which we told her that we would. Yeah, we told her that we would. And let's see what she has to say. She may have some advice for us about this difficult situation that we're in. Alright, this is what she says. Did you talk to Hanu? He's terrible, isn't he? Can you imagine spending your life with him? Who knows what he's capable of? Yeah. Okay, I could be resigned. What other choice have I got? He's who my parents picked. Agreeable. It seems miserable, but on the other hand, he might be the best choice. He is a merchant. Or I could be defiant. You're right. I've got to find a way out of this. Well... Gosh, I really don't feel like number 2 is what my character would say based on her interactions with, well, his entire family, who seemed to be pretty terrible. So, let's say, what other choice have I got? He's who my parents picked. You're smart, Tanya. It doesn't matter what everyone else wants you to do, and you can find a way around it. I know you can. Come on, there's got to be some other solution. Defiant. What, like run away? I guess it's possible, but it would be risking execution. Thoughtful. Well, maybe. And resign, Juhi, sometimes there just aren't really any options. Let's be defiant. Say what, like running away? Yes. Yes, you could steal a horse and get out of here. Tanya, I can't believe we've never thought of... Don't you see, we could both get out of here. You and me, tonight, for good. I could be defiant. Yes, let's do it. Juhi, no, you'd be risking your life. And for what? Or I could be agreeable. Slow down, Juhi. If, and I mean if, we both did that, we'd need supplies. Well, this sounds like the smart response, and our character is supposed to be a smart person, so I think we should choose this one right here. I can steal some stuff from my household, but you're right. We could use money. Do you know where the dowry is kept? Okay, we have 3 choices. Thoughtful, yeah, it's kept up in Laxmi's house in her vaults. Or 2, if we get caught taking that, it's all over. It's not worth the risk. That's resigned. And defiant, that money belongs to my parents. I'm not going to steal it. Let's be thoughtful and choose number 1, I think. The guard's a moron. You should be able to blow right past him if you can whip up even a thick ruse. Anyway, whenever you're ready, go get things staged in the stables. You can get me when night falls. Good luck. Okay. Well, what has updated here? Has our quest updated? Yes. Word is the guard by the east side of Laxmi's estate isn't too bright and has a few gambling problems. She really knows how to pick winners. That's about right. I told Juhi I was going to take my chances outside the village. She insisted that I grab supplies first, which was a good idea, and that I take her with me. So that's our quest updates. And our map update is the dowry, and we need to talk to our parents, I think. At least I think we do. I'm a little worried that if we go do that, we might get sucked into a, something that we can't get out of, like marrying this guy, and that doesn't sound very good, does it? But I'm looking at my timer here, and I think I kind of lost track. I think it's been over the 30 minutes. So we're going to cut the video here, and when we come back, we're really going to have some important decisions to make, and, there'll be no going back. This is Iron Man mode. So until then, I hope you're doing well. Hope you continue to do well, and I'll catch you in the next one.